Hey guys, this is Harvey from WTHamiplaying.com, and today I'm once again in Wakfu. And what I want to do today is I want to spend a couple of minutes and just go through and do like a complete newbie's guide to the game, and sort of explain a lot of the things that I didn't know when I started playing. Sort of go over the classes and all sorts of stuff. So I'm gonna move as quick as I can because I have a lot of stuff I want to cover and a lot of ground to cover. So we will get through this as quick as possible. So the first thing I want to do is just quickly go over each of the classes. Cross Range is the archer class. It's got the longest range of any class, and I believe all three specs are viable, at least the fire and air for sure. I don't know about earth necessarily. Sedita Shu is the plant summoning druid. This is in my other video. They are very strong in both water and earth, and their air spec is a little on the gimpy side, but it's not too bad. I just wanted to, go over each of these, and if I know that a particular spec is a little weak, I just want to let you guys know ahead of time so you don't waste any time. Again, you can always play anything you want, and it'll work to some degree. And it's really just about bang for your buck, or mileage for your whatever, just try to help out. I'm not saying that you can't play anything and that they don't all work. Anyway, Zachrier. This is a sort of a tank class. They do damage to themselves and do more damage and unlock other abilities as they take damage. They work on an anger, rage type system. I'm not positive, but I believe all three specs are viable, good, something. Definitely earth and air, I think. I'm not really sure. I probably have the least experience with the Sacklers. So, Panda was Pint. This is one of the two new classes. It's a panda that drinks a lot and has abilities based on a barrel which they carry with them of bamboo milk, which I guess gets you drunk, I don't know. Each of the three specs is barrel-oriented in some way. Earth, you hold it and you drink from it each turn. The other specs cast spells onto it, from it, etc. I have not done much testing with water and fire. As I understand, they can work. Earth is quite powerful, though it does have some interesting restrictions that you're really limited on move range, yet you have a skill that jumps the whole screen if they're in a line. So depending on the situation, they're really either completely kiteable or extremely mobile, so it's really a toss-up. The next class is the Rogue. They are bomb and pistol specialists. All three trees are a little low on damage right now, and they sort of all play the same, more or less, so there's not a lot of variety between them. As a result, I don't know that you necessarily want to start off with the Rogue. If you really like the bomb-throwing flavor, you can set off chains of explosions and stuff, and it's really cool. There's a lot of flavor and fun to the gameplay, but they're definitely awaiting a damage buff because they're not very strong as a DPS class right now. The Inotropes are treasure hunters. They have 3 different specs, all of which are, as far as I know, very viable. Water exists around them just casting spells and cutting loot off of people, which they can pick up and get a damage buff, as well as getting extra loot from the fight. So it's good. Earth is based around merging with your little cute pet. If I switch to female, these things, the Drellers. You can merge with them and turn into a Drell Zerker. You're basically like a mole wolf, a weremole, something. And fire is based around mines that spawn on the ground that cause your spells to do special effects when you cast onto them, and cause you to do extra damage when you're casting from them. Zeller Sandglass is the Time Mage. They focus on lowering other enemies' initiative, which is their speed, and their AP, and they also do decent damage. AP is action points, which is the amount of things they can do in a turn. Ecaflip's Coin, this is the Gambler Catgirl class, which is, you always gotta have a girl in every game ever. So this is one of those classes that is not without drawbacks. But if you have the right personality to put up with the randomly getting screwed over, this can be a really fun clash because it's also randomly very powerful. So it can swing both ways, and it can swing in pretty harsh extremes between getting killed instantly or, you know, pulling off the amazing luck and just killing a mob instantly. So, you know, it's just one of those things where you really got to be ready for the random, but they can be a lot of fun. And Eripsa's hands, these are the generic healers of the game. They also have spells which put marks on enemies and do special effects when they die. And they have a DPS wind tree, which has several debuffs, some mobility, monster control, and just decent damage. Unlike a lot of them, this tends to be an Omni class. It's very difficult to play only a healing one, or only a mark one, or only a damage one, because trees are so strict, I guess, that you really kind of need to multitask, because, for example, the healing tree has no damage spells at all. The mark tree does very low damage, and the DPS tree, which I guess you could play completely by itself, doesn't have any heals or anything. So, you know, it's just one of the things where it's, if you want to be a supportive character, you'll probably end up investing in all of them and just sort of being an Omni character and just picking your favorites from them. IOP's Heart, this is the closest to like a Spell Knight from Final Fantasy Tactics, the Magic Knights, Agrius, Orlando, etc., etc. They are holy warriors who cast a lot of elemental spells, and as far as I know, pretty much every spec is OP and amazing. This is probably the strongest, most straightforward class of anything in the game, and is unlikely to cause you any problems if you wanted to roll one, except that you might get a little bored being as OP as you are, and I'm sure I'm going to get lots of hate about how OP, or about how they're not OP or whatever, but I'm not really trying to start a fight. I'm just trying to say that no matter which way you go with him, you can't really lose, so it's always a good idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new character, and I don't really know what I want to go with, but I want it to be quick, so I guess I will try, I'll try going with an IOP. Alright, so this is my little IOP, and I'm just going to randomize him a couple of times. There we go, he's got pink hair. Gotta love a dude with pink hair, and I'm gonna see if I can get Harvey, and I can. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run through the starting grounds as quickly as I can, and I'm gonna do this just hyper mode, but I want to just sort of show you everything that there is to show you as quickly as possible. So, this is the first fight. Your job is to use your fist and punch that cat. Yeah. Okay, so now you pick up your Gemlin. The Gemlin is your little buddy. He follows you around the whole game, and you can customize his looks. He changes colors with stasis and Wakfu, and he actually has some stat bonuses. If you press Y, you can bring up your Gemlin menu, and as you do achievements, you unlock faces, skins, and boosts. Boosts actually affect your stats. Probably the most important thing you're going to want to do at some point is silence your Gemlin so that he's a little less annoying. He'll still talk at some points, but he won't bother you all the time. So we're gonna get into combat. This is a Wodent. It is going to be super simple to kill. Basically, at the start of each fight, you get to position yourself like this. You can switch around if you're fighting a monster. They can't move, so you can sort of position yourself wherever you want, and you click where you want to move. You have 3 move points to begin with, which means you can move 3 tiles. You have 6 action points to begin with, which means you can use up to that. Each spell has its own cost. Thunderbolt, for example, takes 3 each time, so I'm able to attack twice with it. Then I end my turn prematurely, because as you end your turn, like, the faster you move, the more speed bonus you get, which is what this is over here. When you fill it all the way up to up here, you get to pick bonus stats for a turn, which will increase various stats relevant to your class. Monsters also have their own, which you can steal from them if you're faster. Things like bonus damage and other stuff. So all of that is useful. Then you finish the fight, you get some experience, you get some loot, etc., etc. What I want to do next is show you leveling. Okay, so if you hit P, you bring up your character sheet. If you go to distribute your stat points, you'll see that as soon as you complete that cat fight, you gain your first level. And there's a whole really big, intimidating screen right here. And what I want to do is say that dodge, prospecting, wisdom, luck, and initiative are not the most useful skills for the amount of points you have to invest in them. A lot of these come on your gear in really high quantities, and you won't need to do anything. Wisdom is, it helps you level faster, but it's completely not useful in combat, so most of the time people don't put points in that. I've never put points into the kit skill, so I don't know exactly how useful that is, but I think what most people do, put their points into health. First off, every level you'll get 5 more health. Once you get 100 points in health, though, it goes up to 2. Once you get 200 points, it goes up to 3. And it just keeps getting more effective, and health is really helpful as you're moving through the game. A couple of other viable options are some classes really benefit from crit, and as a result, putting points into critical hits can be useful. It, of course, costs 15 points per, which is 3 levels worth of points, so you'll certainly get less bang for your buck in terms of like instant reward each time you level. And that goes the same for action points. They cost 150 points, which is an awful lot of time spent to increase them, and the same for movement points. You can also increase those up to 2 of either of those, but movement points cost 100 points, so you'll be spending an awful lot of turns that are levels just sitting there doing nothing while you wait to save up for them. But depending on the class, the spec you're going, etc., it could end up being really useful. If you just want like bread and butter simple build, stack health, and if you ever decide you don't like that, every major patch they reset your stats so you can change that within about a month. So that's good to keep in mind. As for special abilities, these are going to be spec dependent. You're going to have to look through them and decide which ones benefit you. Lots of times the passives are really, really helpful. For example, IOPS can gain 2% damage a level. That's super awesome. Every class has 10 special abilities, 5 of which are active ones. Usable at level 0 for sometimes minimal effect. But all of them are usable right from the get-go. And then as you level them up, the first 3 points will each take 5 points or 1 level worth of time. And then the next 3 will take 10 points or 2 levels worth of time. And then the last 3, to maxing them at 9, will each take you 15 points or 3 levels worth of points. So while they only go up to 9, they do take quite a while to max. And these go up to 20, but they never increase. The passives never increase at all. So they will always take 5 or 1 level's worth of points. So I wanted to go over that quickly, and again, they reset in major patches, so that is not a big deal. And now I'm going to just skip through this because I am trying to move super, super quickly. This is just a quick intro to comma minting. Comma is the money in the game. Monsters do not drop money themselves. There are no NPCs to vendor to in this game, as it is a economy simulation game, etc. The way that you get money is actually by mining ore and smelting it yourself, minting it yourself, whatever. So if you want cash to be put into the system, you need to make it. Otherwise, you can sell your goods to other players at a town or anywhere through your haven bag, and all of that always works. So just don't expect to get money for doing nothing. You will have to go out of your way to get some. So the first thing I'm going to do is run over here, and I'm going to do the combat demonstration tutorial, essentially. That's what this exists for. And what it is I have to go through 3 training rooms very quickly, and